Here we are back into the start of game number 2, match 2 of group, I guess, what, group AB? Whatever, the first semifinal of the day.
Right, yeah, we're back here in the group and we see actually, yeah, Chuck is trying to go for some warrior hunters, I guess. Yeah, he's trying to look for those 3 warriors and probably 3 hunters in the beginning. That's really where you want to start, especially on level 4, where you can have 4 units in place, so you can have 1 tank and that extra flat damage from the lines.
And before we jump too far into this, we have a little video to show. I heard it's Joel. I don't know if they mean you.
Me?
I don't know. We're about to find out. Let's take a look.
I think that the players today should think about their early game very specifically, because since the metagame has become a little bit more aggressive in this tournament than before, where you don't go to the late game in the same way, it's really important to have the early game under your control. And that means either you have to go for something strong. You have the goblins, of course, with their synergy, and all of the 2 stars, as well as the warrior start. And if you get a good early game start, you can definitely think about going aggressive for winning a good amount of win streaks early. And if you don't get that, you can definitely go into a losing streak situation. But if you do, you need something to transition to early. And you can't think of the very late game right away.
Do you agree?
Yeah, that sounds good. This is a smart person.
No, yes. But also, did the first round, I guess, follow your expectations onto that? Or do you want to adjust any of that going into this game after what you learned?
No, this sounds great.
It's pretty straight on, nothing different. All right, great. Well, one thing we did also see was that Shredded apparently wasn't able to find a single item from the first 3 rounds, and that has got to be gutting. Items are not the main focus of this game when you make a team composition. However, it can make a change on what you decide to go or not. With 0 items, like, what can he go?
Yeah, it's a little tough, for sure. I don't actually know, because Mages kind of needs a Magicka crystal.
Yeah.
So maybe you can go into Mages and hope you get that from the Stone Spirits or the Wolves. That could be something you could go for. Otherwise, other unit composition is a little harder, because Glacier Knights, for example, needs a big portion of items to actually go into the late game. So yeah, it's going to be tough, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Now, it's tough.
To be fair, it's a best of 4. You just need to be top 4 to make it to the grand finals. So you don't have to win every single game. And in fact, Shredded was able to make his way into the semifinals going a little bit under the radar, it seems, from his first group. So if there's any player that I could trust to be able to make it work to advance with such a really bad item roll, it is that player.
Right. Yeah, Shredded has really impressed me. He's one of the underdogs, really, of this tournament, being one of the content creators that was invited in. But yeah, he's been proven to do just fine. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely a very, very good player. Looking at the level 5s on round 6, it's actually fewer than last time. It's only 2 right now. Bomberon and Hosanna, I believe we saw 3 go to level 5 on round 5 last game. And even though we're looking at this lobby as a much faster lobby, it's already slowed down from the very first round.
Yeah, it has. And we could see Bomberon, for example, leveling because he did find a 3rd assassin for his triple assassin with his Goblin Star. So he's thinking, if I start winning now, because I'm probably going to win if I level up, I'll keep it for a long time because I have 2 really strong synergies for the early game. While other players might not have found an extra unit that was worth to level up for, really.
That's always fair. That's always true. A couple of goblins across the board, but not necessarily as many as we saw the very first round. Right now, we're looking at a warrior composition with a bunny assassin. Oh, no, it's actually going to be a Gersis thrown in onto that to allow the swordsman and the abyssal guard to really deal their nice little auto attack damages.
Yeah, for sure. And this is just like last round. With Bomberon, we could see a reason that it was worth it to level up. We saw him find into a Gersis unit with his heavy physical comp, and it just made sense to pour another level in there, save a bit of health, maybe start a win streak if you're lucky.
Yeah, then that seems to be what he wants to do. He did lose the previous round, got dropped down to 96 HP, but wants to get onto that win streak sooner rather than later, because there's going to be a point that starting a win streak is way too late, and that's going to be in the next round or so. But this fight is a little close, but he's going to be able to win. And we'll see if he can't turn this into a win streak later on.
Yeah, did play against Jinsu here. He's only level 4, so that's already going to be an upside. But he did have that aggressive debuff on his opponents, which kind of nullifies the warrior buff. So a really good matchup for him to play against another heavy physical team.
Chuck right now open forting with the Fortune Teller. The modified open fort because he is still buying units. I'm a little surprised that he has goblin units because when you open fort, you usually come into play by the time goblins are pointless. But either way, it's not exactly affecting with his money right now, so no, you're not pressured to sell it.
Right. You said a bit of it there that it doesn't really matter right now. You can definitely see him sell it once he's close to another interest point. But I think the other reason why he could be holding them is that if he get a few goblin upgrades, it's going to be easier to him to finish the creep round.
But it's not, yeah, that's fair, that is true. The creep rounds are still important, but he is not the only player open forting. Azu is open forting without the fortune teller. But still, 2 open forters it's kind of rough because Chuck, he does have the fortune teller to diminish the damage, but it does mean that if he goes up against Azu, that streak is going to be broken. And in fact, I think he is only just now starting his streak because he's only on 1 loss streak. Shake and Azu, both with 5.
Yeah, it does seem indeed like Chuck is actually kind of punishing the other loose streakers. I guess they're not punished yet, but they will be punished in case, for example, Jake plays against Chuck here, because I do think Jake has a fair bit more units than Chuck. Basically, what you do by keeping fewer units on the board is that you make it so for the other loose streakers that when they play against you, that they get the win and then they lose their win streak. If you have a look at Jake here, he does have 4 units in play, even though he does have that loose streak.
It sucks because you're not able to guarantee a streak either way, but it is better than trying to fight open forting because, well...
You can look at it this way. Chuck, which only has a priest in play, he limits his life loss, but he also limits the chance that he will play against a player that he will win against. He only has 1 player that he will win against, which is, I believe it was Aussie, who was completely open for it. While Jake is on another level that he wants to save even more life by having more units, but it's a little bit more risky, but it's a bit of a risk that he gets to play against the bottom open forters. But if it doesn't, he's going to retain more life, so it's a little bit of an interesting dynamic there between the 3 of them.
Chuck is playing units right now just for the creep round. I don't think he's going to keep him out on the board, but he has a nice couple of upgrades on a few of his units, and it looks like he may be lose streaking into Glacial Knights, which does seem to be the meta right now if you are going to lose streak. Glacial Knights seems to be the most reliable composition to kind of transition into. We can have a look at the items, see what anyone's picked up, see if we can't find anything really big or great. We see 1 Ferocious Mask.
Yeah.
But nothing, a lot of Vampire Masks too across the board with very few sticks to make those Ferocious Masks.
Yeah, Dracula Mask without any sticks is a little unfortunate. You can make the Puppet Mask now.
Yeah, I mean, the lifesteal is alright. It's not going to hurt anyone.
Yeah, Puppet Mask is great though. Like, at least there is one more way now that you can build Dracula Mask from or combine it with. Now that Shredded actually didn't get a Magicka Crystal from this round, he should be a little bit afraid about going into Minions, and we can see him going into Hunters instead.
Hunter Warrior, it's not the best late game, but it's a reliable mid game, I would say. And if he's able to play it well, manage his economy, he could guarantee himself a nice top 4 or top 3 finish, even if he won't be able to win the game. And that's a sign of a good player. You're not going to be able to win every single game, especially when you're in a lobby as stacked as this. So it's about understanding how far you can push it each and every round.
Exactly, yeah. You got to make most of what you get, basically. And if you do, it's going to be enough. Yeah, Shredded. Yeah, interesting position here. I want to look at Husana. He's been keeping his... I think he's been streaking for a while. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's a 6-round win streak so far. It's a little bit of everything here. Starting to get into Beast Warriors. Has 4 Beasts in play already. So let's have a look and see if he has a Magicka Crystal on that Poisonous Worm. So that would be definitely much better comp if he indeed have that.
I mean, it's still strong. It's still 4 beasts right now, and even though it's just a random taboo Witcher, it's still a good unit in this game. This is very much all about finding those streaks. The difficult part of this composition will be transitioning it into the late game. But for right now, 6-win streak, beating a lot of people, and the summons dealing even heavier damage to them when he does beat them. This could put Hosanna in a good position.
Yeah, Tabu Witcher also being super nice against those
shields, though.
Double demons on the other side.
Ooh, this is a little close. Azu with the nice Knight shield as well as the Fallen Witcher leading up afterwards is gonna break Hosanna's streak, and Azu's not even one of the top streaking players. He was open forwarding, and it seems that he broke his open forward and even able to win his own match because of it, going into his own Glacial Knight Witcher build?
I guess, yeah, I guess this is just a demon build.
It's not even Glacial, it's just a Knight Witcher.
Right. I guess.
He's not committed to the Witcher right now. He could sell all of those Witcher units to get a full return on investment. It's just the way for him to break his loss streak, because as we've seen, people who commit onto the loss streak for too long, they're way too low on health to be able to have a reasonable chance at coming back into this game.
Right. Yeah, for sure. If he can conserve his life total from here and continue in his win streak, that's fantastic. However, the later you lose your lose streak, there's going to be a higher chance that when you start winning, you're going to keep your win streak longer, because that means you have saved more money from your lose streak because you've kept it for multiple rounds, which means you have a bigger bank to work with when you're going to turn around. But this is excellent if he's managing to keep it anyways. And his army is really strong right now. Like a couple of Hell Knights, very powerful unit. Also Fallen Witcher, really powerful in the beginning of the game, especially with that Taboo Witcher.
Couple of people leveling up on for level 7 round 14, which is average enough timing. It's about half and half across the board right now, I'd say. Chuck's still at level 5, but other than that, it's mostly 6s and 7. Chuck, though, with level 5, the only player who's still on the lose streak, or really still on a streak of any kind, shredded at max win streak of 3, which really isn't that much.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Chuck went on to the lose streak among the other 2 players a little later. So it makes sense that Chuck will keep it a little longer while the other players start to try to win a little bit earlier.
Bounce is coming in, Chuck. See if he can't lose this round. He's dealing a fair bit of damage to a couple of these units. He might actually win this with the 2-star Hell Knight, but no, he does get eliminated. It is going to be another loss, but that's fine. He took out a couple of units of Yaken, which means that he's diminishing the damage that he is taking, still sticking at 50 HP, but still lose streaking. So it's basically the perfect scenario to be in.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. If you can micromanage your exact power level until you start winning, that's perfect. If you can stay at 50 health, that's excellent. And I think he has a good ground to stand on. Super close to Hell Knight 3-star. It's actually bizarre at this point of the game.
The problem is, that's really his only knight. He has a single 1-star Lightblade Knight and no other knights to speak of, and other than the Frost Knight, but that hardly counts. Yes. There's also the Frost Knight. That is more on the you know that's more on the Glacial side than on the Knight side. Okay, he's finally able to find an Agursis Knight. That's something else to add in.
Yeah, Argolden Knight, right? So Argolden Knight is not the perfect knight, right? Because you want Evil Knight to pair with that Soul Reaper for later. But if you only need him at level 1 for the in the meantime, that's totally fine.
It at least will unlock the Knight 4 synergy.
Exactly,
but still, his money is fine. He should be able to find the Lightblade Knights that he needs in order to have a strong late game. But it's still not the best position that we've seen anyone hit at round 15. I think the record we have for a 3-star knight is like round 13. I think it was
something crazy like that. We have had a lot of games though at this point for sure.
Yeah, pretty big sample size.
All right, let's have a look and see what Shred is working with here. So we're going to multitude of hunters here, and they all retrieve that flat damage increase. So adding actually a 4th hunters is kind of nice because you get so much of an increase in power level just to have that easy synergy. Let's actually remove it for another frontline unit. A little interesting to see him do that. I don't like it particularly myself, but all right.
I mean, it doesn't unlock any synergy by adding the werewolf in, but it must be for the tanking ability, but it gets removed before it even summons the extra knights. The damage, though, from the backline does seem to be enough if the Hell Knights from Azu. Okay, so they're not able to break through the front line. Shredded able to win another round.
Yeah. I mean, it looks a little bit like a weak backline, but You'd be surprised about how much damage this one-cost unit, one-star unit actually does with that increase of damage. Let's have a look at Hosanna again. Still staying at 93%, looking really strong. We can be a
lot of worms.
And we see why. His 2 poison and worm doing work here with his Beast Warrior comp. And I really like him staying in this Beast comp. We talked about that. We expect to see more Beast Warriors. And have an insanely early Devastator. That's actually insane.
He's not even going Goblin and he's able to find it.
Who cares? This units is crazy damage in the early game. And both, as we were talking about before, we tried to see the poisonous worms, and both of them has some Magicka crystals. And this is perfect for him because maybe you don't want to keep the poison walls for forever, right?
They don't scale the best, but
if you have 2 different ones with each a Magicka crystal, that's so powerful actually. You even get more advantage from that Magicka crystal as otherwise you gain even more mana than the cooldown is.
The worms are going to have to carry this, though. Okay, so the Devastator is able to go off. It was a bit late. It looked a little troublesome for Hosanna for a second there, but he's able to win his round and keep a streak. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. That's when you think it's over. Devastator comes in. That's just... Anyone comes up against the Devastator on round 17, that is like, not very exciting. Well, because he went to level 8 earlier than usual anyway on round 17 and able to find the Devastator with that 1% tier 5 roll chance that early as well.
It's crazy, actually. Yeah, that's a very early Devastator. And Devastator is really one of those perfect units as in a legendary unit to get in the early game because it deals a huge amount of AoE damage. And well, we're gonna see another round here of Hassan and see how powerful his...
Ooh. That's an early 3-star, even if it is a red XG. This is a nice another warrior hunter build. The red X is gonna be a nice tank for the backline.
Right, no, for sure. Shake here is trying to turn around his lose streak. Let's have a look at the streaks. Yeah, Shake didn't win last round, so he's gonna have another win after this round, going up to 2 wins. Yeah, that's right. Jinso actually lose streaking here, and I believe he wasn't lose streaking before. So have a look at his comp. Did lose against Chuck, which has found his 3-star Hell Knight.
3-star Hell Knight.
There we go. There we go.
But again, no Chuck though. Again, that's it. That's the only upgraded knight. All his other knights are 1-star. But looking at Jinsu right now, it's not an awful composition, but you can tell that he is still struggling to really get that full late game transition. He's going dragons, but not a single dragon knight to speak of.
Exactly.
And sure, like, Venom's fine, but he's really more of an auxiliary unit, and the other 2 dragons are even more so of that. Like, the DPS just isn't here for his current composition.
Yeah, as you were saying, like, he doesn't really have that solid carry physical damage of Dragon Knight. And not only does Dragon Knight do all the damage that you need in a consistent basis, but it's also the 4th human for this comp, so it's actually going to be a lot better in terms of silencing your opponent and their front line especially.
A good win. It was actually going to be the Shining Dragon that dealt a lot of that damage with the AoE sort of like Kamehameha Blast. Chuck also wins his own round, sticking at 42 HP, but he's now climbed up to 5th place on the lobby leaderboard. Still though, it's literally all on the 3-star Hell Knight. If he doesn't find the upgrades for his other knights soon, he's gonna fall off. The 3-star Hell Knight can carry him until the late game, but it's only gonna be able to carry him so long.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, he's really pressured here to find his other upgrades. He's happy that he at least has this to carry him, but yeah, been quite unlucky with his rolls here so far. You really do want to spread them out a little bit more, at least. But if there's a unit that you're gonna get to 3-star early, it would be Hell Knight.
That's true.
Yeah, both dealing tons of damage and the tank ability that you need.
Round 20 right now, creep round, get a couple of items, and hey, look, Shredder found some items. Actually found a fair bit of items, so his favors certainly, I guess, change back and forth. He's definitely on the higher end of items, actually. He hasn't combined any of them yet, but now he actually has some choices, and a couple of them are actually good choices for mages, but it may be a little too late to transition into that.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think he must have had the most amazing wolf round ever, basically, to catch up. And, I mean, if you are a little bit unlucky in the early game, if you get it back in the mid game, fine.
Right. Chuck is actually really close. He's got the Argali Knight upgrade if he wants... No, he doesn't, actually. Where'd his other one go? Okay, he's
It's in the
upgrading
middle.
stuff and he's rolling stuff down. No, because I think he swapped it out for an Evil Knight and now going back to the Argali Knight. That's, I think, what's happening. Nonetheless, he will find a little bit of upgrades and lean towards more upgrades in the future. So he's finding stuff. There may still be a window of him making this composition from just all right to really good. He's able to take care of Jinsu quite easily.
Yeah, this Hell Knight is just wreaking havoc. There's not enough burst damage from these different other builds to actually deal with the Hell Knight. And we actually see an assassin. Let's have a look at Boomerang. He's in third spot here with assassins. That's kind of exciting.
Second now because Osana seemed to have lost.
Wow, look at this. He has 2 Abyssal Crawlers at 2-star. It's definitely one of the most important units to get into 3-star. Same with Shadow Crawler, which he does have 2 2-stars as well.
3-star.
3-star. Wow.
On round 22, this could be huge. Assassins are not the most common build that we've seen, but they're uncontested right now.
No.
And finding those 3-stars is super important, which does lean into the RNG of your rolls, but seems to have worked out pretty successfully for Bomberon right now. Let's see how strong it is. Going up against Chuck, who actually has 2 3-stars now, able to upgrade that Glacial Knight.
Yeah. Actually, Chuck's Priest did marvelous job here. It was able to get off his shield as everyone was targeting it, so it did protect against a ton of damage. Otherwise, Chuck would be in trouble here, but it does indeed defeat Bomberon. And as we were saying, this is not one of the more like sought after strategies, and since there's also really no other feather players in this lobby, it does get that Shadow Crawler 3-star and is about to get Abyssal Crawler into 3-star, and those are the 2 most important units to get the 3-stars for assassins.
I think that last round also shows the reason why so many players like to do this corner pocket strategy. The assassins, it was really difficult for them to get to that back line, and with so few tanks to really kind of block the damage towards the assassins on an assassin build, they got deleted very, very quickly. But Shredded right now, getting a couple of good upgrades, has a nice 2-star Pirate Captain to work with this Hunter Warrior build going on. It's not even a full Warrior, I guess, because it's only 2 of them, not even a single level synergy, but no, it's a Hunter build. That's the important part. He's got some good Hunter upgrades, as well as some good frontline tanks. Ghost Ship comes out actually from Jinsu. A lot of damage towards Shreddy. He's going to take a lot of health off of this fight.
I think what Shred is really looking for here is upgrade the Werewolf. That would kind of make his setup kind of perfect. It would finish his Warrior front line. It would also turn on the Beast buff, increasing the physical damage for his entire team, and maybe removing one of those 2 Aggressus Rangers that he's playing with currently.
Chuck right now found a couple of upgrades. Yes, he has the Evil Knight 2-star, has the Lightblade Knight 2-star. Unfortunately, only the 3 Lightblade Knights. Still has a while to get those 3-star, but this is at least finally a manageable composition. The Venomancer being there for the Warlock bonus is obviously not the greatest either. You do want to go for the Soul Reaper because of the Aggressus.
Right, yeah, Venomancer is like working fine in the meantime. It basically, its spell does the same thing as the Aggressus bonus, but it only does so in a certain area, and it's only for a short period of...
And it's only once you get it off, not from the beginning of the fight.
Exactly, and it's only for a duration of time. It doesn't even have to be online for the entirety of the round. But it does seem like his round is finished fast enough for it to stay on board.
Actually, surprisingly enough, it's the 3-star Glacial Knight that's top fragging from that fight, even beating out the 3-star Hell Knight.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's also able to find the Soul Reaper. That's a good pickup. But looking back over in a Shake, who has 20 HP, he was able to win his previous round against Ken, who's also one of the lower strength players here. But Doom 2-star, that's going to be a good pickup. Has a nice Soul Reaper. This is not an awful composition. It's just not one of the ones that you routinely see win games, but hopefully it's enough for him to extend his lead and try and climb up from the bottom and not go out so early.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Shake's gonna make a move here if we're gonna stay on him on round 26 to try to move for that Dwarf Sniper 3-star. I think that's his best way to kind of come back into this game. Also, if he could find a 2-star Siren, did he have that? That would definitely increase his chances to go further into this match. Yeah, he does not have the Siren yet, so I think we're gonna see him go up to 9 here. Then we're gonna see him roll down and hope to find Siren. Does find a Siren immediately.
You are a soothsayer, my friend. You're calling out everything perfectly, able to slot in the Pirate Captain. Who did he remove for that?
Perfect.
I think it was the...
He went up to 9 also.
He went up to 9, but he swapped someone out because he threw in 2 units.
That's rolled down.
Oh,
That's
it was the level 1 Wind Ranger, that's why.
Right.
So that's definitely one that you can get rid of if you're trying to replace it with the Siren.
Yeah, it does make sense for sure. Does also have 2 Magica Crystals that we saw for that Siren, so super nice for Jake there. And only found 1 Dwarf Sniper, unfortunately, to get that into 3-star, but I think he has a good chance to stay alive until he finds a 3-star Dwarf Sniper
and he's
a
on his
2-star
way.
Siren.
That's the important part. Looking at Hosanna right now, though, he's able to make quick work of Yaken, able to win his round. I think Hosanna was on a pretty big lose streak up until now. Down to 34 HP and also 3 gold, but his composition, at least from the fight that we just saw, looks strong enough. He's doing his own warrior beast with a little bit of hunter, literally 1 hunter. So
that's
it's just the Siren, I take that back. Rogue Guard.
Sorry, I had to stop you there, but that's a Rogue Guard 2-star.
Whoa! I didn't see it because I rarely ever see it. Rogue Guard is actually one of the most uncommon characters here.
For sure.
No. Do you agree with the Rogue Guard being thrown in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you get into 2-star, it's a very powerful unit. It's just that it doesn't fit in a ton of comps. But if that's one of your 6 warriors, why not?
Yeah. All right. Makes sense.
No, it's a very strong, as you said, Hosanna's had a lose streak for a while. This is our Beast Warrior player that we saw was leading the pack in the beginning, and he was starting to fall off a little bit, and now he's kind of rolled down now that he lost a few games. And by rolling down on level 9 with the early lead that he got from his Poisonous Worms and his Sword Beast, we've actually seen him pick up a ton of really powerful units like that Siren 2, Rogue Guard 2, etc.
Azu looked to be holding on for a quick second, but unfortunately that Glacial Knight wasn't going to last. But Shake does go down to Chuck. Chuck, once again, the current leader. It took him a couple of rounds to get there, but he is back there on the top. The Ken, though, down to 2 HP, leveling up to 9. What unit is he going to put in, though?
Let's see. What is... Yeah, so he does have 9 units in play right now. He has kind of all of his synergies finished. He has the 2 Warlocks, 2 Eggers, 3 Warriors, 3 Hunters, 2 Warlocks, and 2 Marines, even. And one Dwarf.
It's a little bit of a little bit of a smorgasbord as far as composition is concerned, and that may be one of the reasons why it's not super successful, why he's at risk of going out. The Ghost Ship from the Pirate Captain coming out gets a good stun, but the damage just does not seem to be there. In fact, it's a counter stun from the side of Hosanna as well. It's on a knife's edge, but Yaken seems to be losing more units, and it looks like the 3-star Tusk from Hosanna is enough to remove Yaken in 7th place.
Yeah, actually, if we take up the tab here and see the stats, I think Chuck has had a win streak for a long time, and I think he's the only player to be a Knight player in this game. So I think he's in an insane position. Let's see. Yeah, there's actually Asus playing Knights also, so not the only one, but only having 2. We saw some lobbies having 4, right?
Yeah,
so
2 I think is a perfectly manageable number of Knights. Sure. There's enough units to go around that both of them can even get the 3 stars of the Hell Knight and the Lightblade Knight. It's only when you go more than 2 that it can get a little tricky.
Yeah, we look at Boomerang here, our Assassin player, one of our very few Assassin players in all of these games so far, playing as one of his toughest matchups in that Beast Warrior setup that has a ton of extra armor, and the Siren actually goes off here, which is a huge detriment for Assassins.
This is huge. Bomber may actually be going down because of how many units are still alive on the side of Hosanna. The Assassins just didn't do enough damage, and honestly, the tanks didn't really tank anything because everyone was targeting the Assassins.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. Also, positioning there against the Assassins were pretty flawless as they kept their Siren alive for the entirety of the game, and as soon as you stun everyone, you're just out.
3-star Sniper on the side of Shredded. You talked about how good 3-star Sniper is on, well, any board, much less on a Hunter board. He's going 3 Hunter. Still, what is this? It's literally just Hunter Gerses. Those are the only, and I guess the Dwarf, the only synergies that are activated. But
still surprised Shredded hasn't found a werewolf yet, as we were talking about.
Not even one,
Yeah, I would have loved to have that instead of one of the God of Wars. He would have completed 3 synergies. He would have completed Warriors, Humans, and Beasts.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, actually.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to find one after this creep round. Round 30, good couple of items. Can we see how many items there are on the Dwarf Sniper? I want to see how stacked this carry is. Okay, it's it's not the worst, but
Yeah.
it's not the best. Got a couple items spread around. No big items just yet, though. Okay, on the Siren, this is good.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
there it is, there it is. We get the Refresher Orb on the Siren, and that alone could be huge. With the God of War, with the Razorback, with the Siren, double ultimate, that should stall the game out enough for the Door Sniper alone to carry.
For sure. Yeah. And also, these are the kind of the most important items for Dwarf Sniper is the attack speed items. Dwarf Sniper doesn't have the fastest attack speed in the game and kind of high damage, so as long as you increase his attack speed, he's gonna deal tons and tons of damage for sure.
Actually, even looking at the damage chart, it's already doing a huge amount. The Siren, though, wasn't able to ult and actually gets stunned before she's able to ult, but the ult does come in. This might be enough time, but the 3-star Knights on the side of Azu able to find the Light Blade Knight at some point. Too much damage, too much tankiness, and Shredded is going to take a bit of health here, still in second place. Jinsu, Hosanna, and Azu, of course, are the ones that are in the closest risk of being eliminated.
Right, yeah, Shredder's really looking for that 3-star. Oh, wow.
Hard up to Rask on the level 2 Rogue Guard. It's rare sight to see.
It's very nice, yeah, for sure. No, I was about to say Shredded's main objective here is, of course, getting that Werewolf, but also leveling the God of War up to 3-star. That's one of the best way to hold the Knight players at bay, because they're going to get stuck at that God of War, and then you backline can kind of deal the damage necessary.
I think Azu lost his own round, though, against Jinsu previously.
My fate.
But Hosanna now defending against Shredded. A little bit of a positioning change on both parties. I don't know who's currently coming out on top, but the Ghost Ship does come in, the Werewolf transformation as well, but immediately removed. And I think Shredded's line is holding hard. Siren ult from Hosanna stalls it for a quick second, but not enough DPS. Not even the level 2 Rogue Guard can break through the front line.
Yeah, those two God of Wars were just too strong there.
Actually eliminated. Azu and Hosanna both eliminated within seconds of each other, and now we're down to 3.
Oh, and we look at Jinsu here, our Mage Dragon player, actually finding God of War and Dragon Knight 2 here, also Sword Shaman 2. Looking really strong. Winter Share Opera then 3-star. So, yeah.
An interesting unit to bother 3-starring, but I mean, if you have the opportunity, you might as well go for it. There's not a single unit that gets worse when you upgrade them.
No, for sure not. I like that he's keeping his 1-star defector here. The Black Dragon King is going to come in soon, and if you combine it with the Storm Shaman, you actually get an instant Hex against the dragon. So.
Fair point. It's not necessary to beat the unit, but might as well, right?
Right, yeah. Although, when you're playing mages, can be a little bit harder to finish that.
You want every single bonus that you can get. Shredded, though, going to be taking a little bit of damage here from Chuck, because Chuck's what is this? Glacial? He actually gets taken out. That's huge. Shredded goes out in 3rd place. That 3-star Dwarf Sniper isn't going to do enough. But Chuck, though, is going a Knight build with the Dragon Knight. That's not usually a unit that you see thrown in onto this composition, but now he's got 6 Knight. He's got all 6 right now. Argali Knight, only a 1-star.
Yeah, this is actually excellent play by Chuck, seeing what he's going to face in the finals. When you have 6 Knights, those shields become so much stronger against the eventual burst damage of the Mage player. This is actually so smart in the finals, be able to deal with that. So I think Chuck has a really good chance here to just win this exact round, not letting Jinso go into the next creep round even.
Taking a bit of damage, and the Dragon Knight's taking a bit of damage themselves before they can transform, but it looks like he is able to break through Jinsu's army.
Yeah, Jinsu's out here for sure.
Yeah, there's that. We saw how easy it was for Chuck to beat Jinsu on his own board. Of course, it's going to be the same on the other side. So Chuck is going to win round 2. He got 2nd. He's able to keep it this time around, take the victory. Definitely a good play by him. Able to stay the win. Chuck, North America.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Chuck, he got, as you said, 2nd in the first game. Now getting 1st. That's 7 plus 9, which is 16. I know, I'm doing a lot of big math up here, but Chuck's got to be thrilled about that. Also, I wanted to note, because we had Shredded, he's got the Pakistan flag, but he's also a dual citizen of the United States. So, you know, folks keep that in mind. So there's no representation from the United States in our 2nd group. So Shredded and Chuck fighting hard for USA, and Why is Chuck so successful right now, guys? What's going on?
He's just
Tell
good.
me. He's just good.
He didn't even play the same composition both rounds though, and that just shows his flexibility, being able to. So the second game he lost streaked a little bit into a Glacial Knight build.
First game, I believe he started win streaking, but a little bit late with Beast Warriors.
Yeah,
actually. And
so,
then he didn't go all the way to the end, then he came second, I think.
Yeah, but he held first for a large majority of that, just losing out to the mage build. Point is, though, that's within 2 games, 2 completely different styles, completely different synergies, completely different, I guess, momentums in that game. That's just being that flexible is a true sign of strength, and there's a reason that he was a favorite coming into this entire event.
Yeah.
He's got to be extremely happy with where he's at right now, getting first and second through the first 2 games there. And another notable, something I wanted to note was Jinsu, who, he's deservedly being hyped up. He got 7th in the last game, but he ended up getting second, I believe. He got second here. So turnarounds like that are very important, especially when so much is on the line. We had Hosanna also with somewhat of a turnaround, going from last to getting 4th with 5 points. But let's go ahead and break that all down as we take a look at the match details. And something that I found obviously pretty interesting was also the use of the assassin. I can't remember quite who was using it, but it's Bomberman. We haven't really seen that, and obviously he was finishing in 6th, but electing to go for that strategy is something we haven't seen. Is that something we're going to be expecting more of strategies that are maybe a little bit less of what we've seen that might find success?
I like.
Or do you just not like it? I mean, it's fine.
I love assassins, but they're just not very strong in the current meta. I like the idea of going for something uncontested, but with the amount of synergies that are being played and are winning these games, I think that's more than enough uncontested strong synergies that I think trying to go assassins is maybe digging a little too deep. Yeah. And it's just, unfortunately, I mean, there's a reason it's not working. We've seen it multiple times. It hasn't worked out any time.
And we're seeing the overall standings here. Chuck well at the top. 16 points through 2 matches out of 4. You see Bomber on there with 11 points, representing Japan. Azu representing China. And we have 3 players locked in at 8. And that's pretty important, actually. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all locked in at 8. Shake not too far away as well with 6. So, again, the places that we're worried about here is top 4. These players are all looking for top 4, and it looks really close, especially this lobby we just had.
Yeah.
It was pretty close all the way through.
There is still room for most of these players to climb back into the top 4, no matter where they are on the leaderboard, and that's only going to make for an exciting continuation of this series.
For sure. Even all the way down to 8th place, having 4 points in comparison to 8.
Yeah.
4 to 8 is just very close, right? So,
well, guys,
anything can happen.
Yeah, and we're halfway through our semifinal match here. Again, it's a best of 4. We're 2 matches down. So we're going to take a 5-minute break here. When we come back, we're going to be concluding this first semifinal to find out who are going to be our first 4 players to advance to our grand finals tomorrow. You're watching the 2019 Auto Chess Invitational, $1 million prize pool live here from Shanghai. We'll be right back.